So, hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the Let's Talk the Truth show on how to succeed. We are in part number 10, and part number 10 is talking about the heart of worship. The heart of worship. I'm not going to repeat anything, for all I understand is that you people are following up. So, if at all you have listened from part 1 up to part number 9, I know you'll have an understanding of whatever I'm talking about when I talk about heart of worship. Let's start with the verse that is in Romans chapter number 6 verses 13. And the verse says that, give yourselves to God, surrender your whole being to Him to be used for righteous purpose. So, the heart of worship is by surrendering yourself. Surrender yourself to God to be used for the righteous purpose. So, surrendering is a very unpopular word, as each and every person understands. Do you know what's the meaning of one surrendering? One surrendering is just like giving up. Is it the truth? So, it's a disliked word. It's something that people don't want to hear. So, surrendering will just imply like losing. No one wants in this world to become a loser. I don't know whether you understand this. So, and in today's society, we have not been taught about surrendering. We have been taught just of never give up, never giving, no word like surrendering. So, once you hear about surrendering, you see as if you are being told to give up. Yet, the society teaches not to give up, never to give in, never. So, if at all you think winning is everything in this world, there are some people whose goal in this world is to win. So if at all you think that winning is everything in this world, my friend, then I tell you, surrendering is something that is unthinkable. Something that is unthinkable. Just surrender. Surrender your life to God. So, surrendering to God is the heart of God's worship. We give ourselves to God not because that we fear, but in love. Why? Because God Himself loved us even way before. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about the situations that God shows love to His people, but you all understand that God even does not love God, but God is love Himself. So that term describes that, yani, how much God loves you. So I'm not even going backward. Today I've just decided to talk about the part number 10 only. I'm not going to the other parts, back to the other parts. So if you wanna just have look at it, just listen to them, they are there. So I'm talking of God loved you even much way before. So we don't surrender because we fear. God loves us. Paul in the book of Romans says that, so then friends, because of God's great mercy to us, I know each and every person understands Paul. Because of God's great mercy to us, offer yourself as a living sacrifice, dedicated to His service and pleasing Him. This is the true worship that you should offer. And so, friends, I will tell you the same ones. Offer yourself, surrender yourselves to God, just like a living sacrifice. Why? We don't have any other option. God is our creator. The only problem that we have as men, as people, is that we want to be God. We want to be like God, sorry, but it can never happen. So, what do you need to do? Surrender yourselves to God. So, and Paul continues and says that this is the true worship that you should offer. The true worship that you should offer is that one. So, offering yourselves to God is what worship is all about. As I told you in the other chapter, the previous chapter is that God seeks worshippers. That's the reason why He decided to create human beings. So, and worship is one. Yani surrendering yourself is a way of worshiping God. So surrender yourselves, my friend, to God. So I continue. There are a lot of terms that are used to surrendering yourself. Personal surrendering yourself. You'll hear people talking of consecration. You'll hear others talking of making Jesus your Lord, others taking up your cross, dying for yourselves, yielding to spirit. I know there are a lot of terms. So whichever the term you're using, so please surrender yourselves to Christ. There are three barriers. There are three barriers that makes people not make on surrendering themselves to God. Barrier number one is fear. Barrier number two is pride. And barrier number three is confusion. So, let me just talk about fear. Why do you people fear surrendering to God? Because you don't trust Him. So, can you trust your God? First of all, trust your God. After gaining the trust, you'll find it very easy to surrender. So, you cannot surrender to God unless you trust in Him. The more you realize how God loves you, it will become very easier for you to trust in Him. So, God proves His love to us for His Son dying on the cross, that everyone understanding it. There are so many ways in which God shows love to man, numerous ways, even with His own words from the mouth. So, even Him, God giving His Son as a sacrifice because of us, the people, and we are sinners. It means that He loves us very much. He loves us and will continue loving us very much. So the only thing that you need to do, my friends, is surrender yourself, trust in God, surrender your lives to God. Let me just continue with the other one is pride. I know you all recall whatever I'm talking about. Things that will hinder you from surrendering your life to God. Number one, we have talked of fear. Number two, we are in pride. And number three, it's confusion. Pride. Do you admit your limitations? Pride is something, by the way, if at all it's a kind of negativity, and a very bad negativity. Pride. I don't know even the reasons to why people becomes proud. For what thing? Why now? Like, know how to humble yourself, number one thing. And know that you can never be God, and you will always be under God's care. You are under God. So, we don't want to admit that we are just creatures. That's the problem. We don't want to admit that we are just creatures, mere creatures, and not in charge of everything. And I don't know whether you know that as human beings, we are limited. There are things that we cannot do, and there are things that God has given us the capability of doing. For instance, I can be able to preach to you like I'm doing, or to inspire you like I'm doing right now, but I cannot be able to foresee whatever will happen today, yani tomorrow to me. I cannot foresee whatever is happening behind my back right now. It's only God who has got, who can do that. And as human, sometimes we find ourselves like we want to know. We want to be like God. It can never happen, my friends. So please surrender your life to God. Life is a struggle, but people don't realize that. So when someone known as A.W. Tozer said that the reason why many people are still troubled, still seeking, still making retro forward progress is because they have not yet come to the end of themselves. Can I come again, please? I have said that A.W. Tozer said that the reason why many people are still troubled, still seeking, still making retro forward progress is because they have not yet they have not yet come to the end of themselves. By the meaning of coming to the edge of themselves is like they have not yet surrendered. Coming to the end of yourself is by surrendering. And my dear friends, one day, one time, you'll surrender. your life to Christ. Surrendering means that you have got nothing being left behind. My God, I have surrendered my life to you. Take control. I'm your creature. I can do nothing without you. It's just like that. Surrender your lives to God. Come to the end of yourselves, my dear brethren. So, let me just continue. As I told you before, we aren't God and we can never be God. When we are faced with our own limitations, we react with irritations, anger, resentment. We people, we must change the way of living. We must change the way of facing our problems. We must. So, there is this thing, even people talk of, they want to be like, huh? They would like to be like, if at all you are short, you wanted to be taller. There is no way. You want to become smarter. You want your talents to be much shining, more talented. No way. So, what is the meaning of surrendering? Sacrificing your life or suffering in order to change what needs to be changed. That is surrendering. Sacrifice your life in order to change whatever needs to be changed. That is what we'll call surrendering. So, God often calls surrendered people in order to fight battles on his behalf. I don't know whether we are still together. So, you surrendering, it means that you'll be fighting God's battles on his behalf. Surrendering is not for cowards or doormats. Someone known as C.S. Lewis, C.S. Lewis, observed that the more we let God take us over, the more truly ourselves we become, because he made us. I like the end part of it. So the more we let God to take control of us, the more we let God to take over us, then the more we truly understands ourselves. Why? Because God himself made us. God is the maker of human beings. So I don't want to go back to the previous parts. I've talked a lot about that thing. So please, if you have not yet visited those parts, please visit them and say yes, Lord, to whatever he intends you to do with a lot of obedience, please. Surrender your life was the topic of today. It is part number 10 of Let's Talk the Truth, How to Succeed. And can I tell you something? I have got a playlist just containing of this show, Let's Talk the Truth, known as Inspiration. So please visit my playlist. Let's Talk the Truth. The playlist name is Inspiration. The playlist name is Inspiration. If you want to listen only to the Let's Talk the Truth show, it's in the playlist Inspiration. So bye bye and thank you. I love you very much, my people, for following up, and may God bless you abundantly. Please, bye.